All right, Matt. I want to introduce you to somebody fantastic today. Here on the No Dumb Questions podcast, my favorite episodes are where we have someone on that has really interesting life experiences that we know nothing about, and we just got to ask questions to, and we get to understand like a little bit more about their background and empathize with them a little bit. But what are some
My
of those
favorite episodes are the ones where we just have 2 hours worth of fart jokes. It's weird that we see that so differently.
Yeah, we do see that differently. I want to introduce you today to someone that's very, very, very interesting. I've known him for 3 days. He's the brother-in-law of a good friend of ours, Alexander Roberts, and I'd like to introduce you to Jorge.
Excellent.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, Jorge.
Nice to meet you.
Where are you from, man?
Honduras.
Conozco Honduras. ¿Qué parte?
De Tela.
I don't know that I know that town. What part of the country is that in?
So it's like by the coast. In the Atlantic area. But right now I am in Comayagua, which is the center of Honduras.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so what's so interesting about Jorge here, Matt, is he comes to Honduras via a very, very interesting path. Jorge, can I just give like the brief rundown of your story? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Jorge is an American citizen, but the way he came to citizenship was incredibly difficult. He actually came from Honduras on foot.
On foot.
Yeah, literally on foot. It's incredible. So
Honduras is far.
I thought it would be really fun after hearing Jorge's story is to go through here and just let you ask questions, and we just kind of listen together. Jorge in the U.S., as you know, because you've been here forever, you know that there's this whole thing about illegal immigration, and a lot of times it's not given a face or a name or feelings, but you have all of those things. So would you be comfortable telling your story with us? Would that feel all right to you?
Absolutely.
Do you mind starting with your childhood in Honduras and what it was like, and how this whole literal journey started?
Yes. As a little boy, I lived in Tela, Atlántida. So the view over there, we lived up in the mountain. We did not live by the ocean. My childhood was, I lived with my grandma. She's like a mother to me. I didn't know who my mom was. My mom left me when I was a little kid. Food for us was very low. We would have for breakfast, lunch, and supper mangoes and bananas. That would be my lifestyle. My grandma's house was built out of different parts you can find. We had dirt floors.
What do you mean different parts you could find?
Like it was not like the building was just different like metals and stuff. If you've seen those in some countries, just size whatever, you can feel the hose. That's how my grandma's house was built. Dirt floors, and I didn't have a bed. I slept on the floor every night. We would just put a blanket on the floor and I would go to sleep. My grandma was the only one with a bed in her house. Her stove was outside, made out of clay. We would get water from the creeks, so we had to go get jugs of water from the creek for everything, everyday use, even for drinking. I used to sit in the rocks from Tela I could see the ocean. I would just squint my eyes a lot and see if I can see my mom in America waving at me. I used to do that a lot. And, that's just, I guess, my childhood. And, it's a little kid because I wanted to know what it was like over there, where my mom was in New York.
How did you know she was there? How did you know? You said she left, but did she just one day wave and walk away but tell you she was going to America?
She just left and went to the United States for a better life, just to help us in Honduras to take care of us. I was so young that I didn't know who she was. I would ask my grandma, "Is this my mom?" Because my mom and my aunts were all together, so I didn't know who my mom was. So that's a little bit my childhood. My big thing, I was pretty big at climbing trees and hunting. I used to hunt with slingshots, so that was pretty big. I would miss school a lot as well. I was very very skinny, and I had a big belly. So just because I didn't have food a lot, but that was a little bit of me as a childhood.
Did you have any pets in Honduras?
We did. We had a dog named Confite, which means candy.
What? Why did you name your dog Candy?
That's what they named. It was already established, so we just named him as Confite. It was it looked like an old yeller kind of dog, like one of those gray dog or silver dogs.
Uh-huh.
It was miss that dog.
My grandparents' dog's name was Taffy. They named it after candy too. So, seems legit to me.
That's awesome. So I'm still a little confused about your mom leaving. She was just when you started having memories, she wasn't there. Is it? But your grandmother would tell you about her?
Yes. I did not know who she was until.
That's a hard thing.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then
How
what
did
happened?
she get to the United States?
So one day, my aunt, she came back from the United States to Honduras, and that was pretty much when she came to Honduras. That was the first time for me to experience a lot of different things. As in, I hardly came down from the mountain going into town. I would just say I was like a cave kid. I didn't know anything about nothing. It was pretty neat because when she came, it was my first time I was able to get on a bus. That was really neat. Just things that you would never do in your regular life. And she came and she told us that we were going to go to the United States. And from there, we say goodbye to our families, and I was worried about my dog Confite, where he's going to stay at. We didn't know we were leaving. They told us we were leaving where we were living at, up in Campo Rebir, which is the small village where we were up in the mountains. But from Honduras, I'm going to go ahead and start.
Well, tell me this. How old were you at the time?
I was 10 years old.
Okay, so 10 years old. You're living in this village. You go out to the ocean, the Atlantic side, you said?
Pacific.
Yeah. Okay, so you go out to the Pacific Ocean, you squint your eyes, you try to see America, and you're trying to see your mom. Doesn't happen. Your grandma tells you you're leaving one day, or your aunt tells you you're leaving one day?
My aunt.
Okay, and so you get on a bus, and that's where we're at. And Confite is,
Stayed.
Yeah.
He stayed. So we all... we took a bus from Tela to San Pedro Sula, which is, the next town. It was.
I know San Pedro Sula. I've been there before.
San Pedro Sula.
Yeah.
I
can picture it.
Yes, it's a big city.
Mm-hmm.
It was my grandma, my cousins, my aunt, my uncle, my two uncles. It was 9 of us total. They made the journey. So we took a bus first from Tela to San Pedro, and then the whole journey we had a parrot with us. We took the parrot. His name is Paco. So from there, it was. For me, it was. We were from San Pedro. We went straight to Guatemala, and there, the bus just dropped us off in the middle of nowhere. There was no houses. It was dark. We were dropped off there. We stayed there until the next day. I remember the smell of, and the area was very strong of petróleo, which is gas, petroleum. I'm saying that right? It was very strong. It was like an area of a lot of diesels going through. It was just really strong smell of gas. The next day, I don't know what time it was. I just know it was still dark. We got up and we started walking through the jungle of Guatemala. It was so dark. You can even see the trees. You can see the blue skies. You can see the trees. The monkeys. The monkeys were very loud because we were going through there.
Wait. Hold on. So where's San Pedro Sula, Matt? I've never been there.
Northwest Honduras.
Northwest. Okay, so that's on the Pacific side. So is
Nope.
it?
Atlantic.
It's on the Atlantic side.
Sorry.
Oh, Atlantic.
Yes.
Northwest is on the Atlantic side? Okay, yeah, because
Yes.
Honduras does that little dippy thing, doesn't
Yes.
it? Okay.
The coast of Honduras runs east to west. It's like the flat part of Central America. So, Jorge, you were going east to west from Tela, kind of southwest down into San Pedro. And then you guys just drove out of San Pedro. And I mean, was there any issue at the border going into Guatemala, or was that easy?
No, it's because the bus just dropped us off at the middle of nowhere. This was I guess, before the Guatemala border. So we would just drop off where there was no houses, and then we started walking from there.
So you walked into Guatemala.
Yes.
Okay, wow. and so like when my grandmother used to take us to the movies back when I was a kid, she would always take a big purse, and she had a bunch of food and stuff. Did your grandma have a big purse full of food?
No, she did not. We just grabbed clothes and no, she didn't have those.
No plans? You just we're just going to walk north.
Yeah, we just got up and go. Yes.
How much time did you have from when she said it was go time to when you walked out the door?
It was the same day. It was just get up and go. And I didn't know what we were going to go into ourselves because I was young. But it was just, I get up and go. You wear what you have, and you go the whole way up there.
Wow.
That's crazy.
What were you wearing on your feet?
We just had tennis shoes that they brought. And it was pretty neat because I didn't even have shoes in Tela. So, I had new stuff. So that was pretty neat, and new clothes because they brought it from the United States. That's why I was like, it was so cool. Whenever she came to Honduras, it was the first time for a lot of things for me. As a little kid,
And you said you had this parrot. Is it like on your shoulder, like a pirate?
No, this parrot was a green little parrot. His name was Paco, and my grandma would bring it in her shirt. She would have it in her shirt, and he made the journey with us going up. So,
did that parrot talk? Did he ever rat you out?
No, actually would whistle. I remember he would whistle and stuff, but no, he was, I guess, because he was, I guess it was a baby. Just, I guess it grew with us going up, But it was a very small bird, and then it was starting to whistle, and that's all it did.
That's good. I mean, if it was a comedy, I'd picture it saying things like, no papers, or something like that. And then you all get arrested, and it was a stupid bird's fault. But everybody loves the bird anyway because it's Paco.
Right.
No, it was smart to bring a not talking parrot.
Right. It's pretty solid. So we're in the jungle in Guatemala in nighttime.
Yes.
With a bird and your grandmother and you with new shoes. And who else is with you?
My aunt, my uncle, and my cousins, my sister.
How many cousins?
I had there was two of us, and my sister was us, and then we had another cousin that I will share a little bit later on.
So 8 people or so.
Yes.
Okay, 8 people. All right. Then what? So we're heading north in Guatemala in the jungle at night.
Yes. What was more terrifying that day was the monkeys. They were very loud. I never, I don't even hear that on the Discovery Channel. They were just so loud. Our shoes were so heavy with mud because of the terrain. It was just very muddy in the jungle. We walked in there. We saw people coming, and we had to hide so they won't be seen. Now, the terrain that we walked, it was not vehicle accessible. It was just like a people path. That's the type of terrain that we walked all the time. And it was.
So where did you hide? I mean, you just duck behind trees and wait for people to go by?
Yes. During the nighttime, we did. Daytime, we just, I guess, we try to blend in with everybody else. So.
How different does the Spanish sound in Guatemala versus Honduras?
It's about the same. It's very understandable.
Yes. So the accent wouldn't immediately give you away, is what you're saying?
Right. No.
Okay. This episode of No Dumb Questions is brought to you by Away. Away, I'm going to read it, is a modern lifestyle brand that creates thoughtful products for every traveler and every kind of trip. And that has been my experience. I have 3 of these things now, and I'm hoping to get 2 more so it can just be the entirety of our family luggage.
That's kind of what we're doing too. We're slowly acquiring more Away bags one at a time. And last trip we went on, everybody had an Away bag. It was awesome. Everybody could roll it into the hotel. It was fantastic. We love these things.
Walk me through your color choices, please.
Okay, so I like the navy blue. We also have a tan one. Or is it? No. I don't know, dude. I'm drawing a blank. We have 4 of them, and mine is blue. I mean, that's how personalized it is to me. So the other family members have their own thing. I have a blue one. What about you?
I've got a black one that you gave me from when you first started working with Away, and that immediately, like they weren't sponsoring anything I worked with, that just immediately became my favorite piece of luggage. I used it for everything. And then I tagged on a tan one that kind of looks like some of those pickup trucks that you see that have that desert color to them.
Yeah.
And then I picked up, it's not navy, it's like that really stylish new car blue. It's a deeper blue. It's a sophisticated blue. Whatever the case, we got 3 of them. I love them.
It's got like hints of green in it, maybe. It's hard to describe that color.
A dash of gray. It's definitely a gray-based blue. But they're cool. It's not like generic hit you in the face and you feel gross colors. There's nuance. I can tell that thought was put into them. And then as a result, I put a bunch of thought into what colors I wanted. But this is my favorite thing. We took a little road trip to go to my nephew's wedding this weekend. And so we flipped down a couple of the back seats and I slid them in place, all 3 Away bags, perfectly.
They stack so well.
Oh, it's bliss. Like,
They just stack right on top of each other.
yes, they're meant to rub against each other. Right? It's just magnificent. It's not like magnets where they push apart. Like these just, it's like, no, please be closer to me, other Away bag. And they just snuggled right up. And every time you wanted to pop one out, it was like I had dresser drawers in the back of the vehicle because of how smoothly they would slide off the top of another one. It was magnificent.
I do have one problem with Away bags, though.
Tell me. This is a very honest ad because this is an ad.
I know.
We're getting paid, and you're about to say what your problem is.
Yeah, my problem is they won't break because there's this. They've released this new aluminum one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like to waste things, and so I can't mentally justify getting the aluminum one until the polymer one breaks, and it won't. So you know what I mean?
What you just did, right?
What?
Like one, I agree with you. I'm in the same boat. I will tag on an aluminum one soon, but these are going nowhere. I'm going to have these forever because they seem to be invincible. But you just did the job interview trick.
What's the job interview?
Like, okay, this is how it works. All right, I'm interviewing you. You be the one getting interviewed.
Oh,
Ready?
I just worked too hard. That's
okay,
my
thank
problem.
you, Mr. Sandlin, for talking about your strengths. That's great. But what would you say your greatest weaknesses are?
I'm just too loyal. I'm just that's a problem. I'm just really, really loyal, and I often work too hard. I usually put the company in front of my family and things like that.
That's something you really need to work on. You'd say that one of the real weaknesses then of Away luggage is that it just doesn't break.
It's the strength. Yeah, the strength is a weakness because I want the aluminum one and I can't justify getting it yet. That's
Just
the
go
problem.
buy the aluminum one.
I don't.
Make it so.
Okay, I could do that. If I were to buy the aluminum, what promo code would I use?
Yeah, this is what you'd want to do. You'd want to go to awaytravel.com/NDQ, awaytravel.com/NDQ, and buying one there comes with a 100-day free trial. They know that travel is weird and sporadic right now, and so you can get it. You can try it out. If it, for whatever reason, isn't what you like, then you've got an easy out, but you're going to like it. You're not going to use that 100-day free trial thing. You're going to dig it.
If I were to get the aluminum one, Matt, just in a purely hypothetical universe, would it also have the really sweet casters that have perfectly machined? I can only imagine they're machined bearings in it. They're fantastic.
No, unfortunately, they don't. The aluminum ones are actually mounted on top of old ice skating blades that they got from thrift shops and antique stores. And you just have to scrape those along the floor at any airport that you might. Yes, you get the casters, and it's amazing.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Yeah, they're 4 casters, and they're all 4 swivel casters. So you can put your hand on the handle and just spin it around with one finger while you're waiting in line. It's fantastic. So check it out. awaytravel.com/NDQ. That's awaytravel.com/NDQ as in November, Delta, Quebec, as in No Dumb Questions podcast.
And obviously getting something that big shipped could seem like it would have a gigantic price tag in terms of the shipping, but it's free shipping on any order, free returns on any order in the lower 48, the UK, Europe, and Canada.
That's it. Thank you so much for supporting the sponsors. When you support them, you support the podcast, and we are grateful. So you said they're footpaths. So how do you know where to go? Like I'm thinking right now there's this thing called the Underground Railroad that I'm sure you're aware of. Harriet Tubman So is there like this chain of people pointing you in the right direction, or is there some kind of like signs that tell you where to go, or how do you know what you're doing?
No, my uncle, he was very good with reading maps. I remember he always had different maps wherever we were, and he would read them, and then we will go. But it was my uncle was the guide over that. So going up a little bit into Guatemala, we would stay in people's home. I remember this guy. I just remember their people name. I just have a photo memory. His name was Don Silvestre, and we would stay at their hammock, and we would stay there for a few days, and then we would move on.
Did Don Silvestre know what you were doing?
Yes.
And so he and his family, they were just supportive.
It was just him by himself. I forgot what happened to his wife, but
Was he an older man or a younger man?
He was
or-
an older man.
So it's just like an unspoken thing that he knew what was going on, and he was one link of the chain to help you get there.
Yes.
What year is this? So you're 10 years old. How old are you now, Jorge?
I am 35, and I entered the United States in 95.
95. So this is 1994? Something like that?
Something like that, yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
Or 93, because it was Christmas in Mexico, and then it was Christmas in the United States. So,
Wow. Okay. All right.
but I remember as we were going in some of the jungles to Guatemala, we had to scoot the tap hose out of the side of the creeks just to drink water. That would be our drinking water. We would eat mangoes or wherever it was on the side of the roads, mangoes or bananas. We would eat it. I remember that families were paid. I don't know. I just know that we would have food from the side of the road, the homes. Just didn't know that version. I just know that we were thankful that we had food, fresh food. So we would eat food once in a while from people's home. I remember just that Guatemala was very wet. We were in and out of Guatemala, is in the journey I'm walking. And then next thing we know it, we were in the borders of Mexico. So in Mexico, this is jumping into Mexico. When we got in there, we took it was like a little bus that was out of the city, and it dropped us off in the middle of nowhere again. And then it was all water terrain. So moving up into Mexico, all the traveling we had to do was through canoes. It was a lot of canoes we had to go and just, and we would stay at people's home for a long time just to move on to the next town. I don't know what the adults did on that time. I just know that they would leave and come back in the evenings. I don't know if they went to work but I know that we would stay there in people's home.
Yeah, so this is an interesting component to me because typically in the U.S. when the news is reported as illegal immigrants or migrants or however the political spin is on a particular story, you don't think about children. And here you are, a 10-year-old boy, and you don't know what arrangements the parents are making. You don't know if they're paying for your food or if they're paying for basically a hotel stay. You're just there.
Yes.
And so were you fed, like when you went to a place and you stayed there, were you fed better? Like, did it feel like a hotel or you don't know?
Well, when we stayed in some of the places, we were thankful that we ate a lot of the tuna and crackers. And those they will be like awesome because it'll be better than eating mangoes or bananas, because to me it fills you up. So we will eat a lot of that. That's what we did in a lot of the homes.
Mm-hmm. So you were passing through a swampy area, and that's why you were in canoes so much?
Yes, it was very swampy, very a lot of big rivers, lakes. It was in that part of Mexico, just coming out of Guatemala.
Yeah. Yep.
So now looking back into the map, I did not know what town that one was, but I know that we went up to the coast, the Atlantic coast, or the edge. That's what we went to, looking back into the Mexican map.
I'm pulling up Google Maps as you talk here. So right on the border, you got there via. Okay, I'm with you.
Yes.
Keep going.
Then in Mexico, then we got into another, I don't know what this other town was, but we were walking. As a little kid, I thought some of the walking was just like an adventure, like, wow, this is an adventure. But getting hours into the walking, we were like, no, we were so tired, we didn't want to walk anymore. We would be up in the mountains so high that, the homes and the cows looked like ants. That's how far we were up in the mountains.
Were you way up there to avoid people?
There will be not really a lot of homes, really like barely homes up there. Just civilization was very low up where we were. So they would just take us out of towns so we won't be seen into town. So everything that we did was like mountains, so we won't be seen.
At this point in your journey, had anybody seen you in a way that made you afraid, that made the adults fearful? Or were all the encounters safe?
To my knowledge, I believe all the encounters were safe. I mean, at some of the points that we were walking, I will forget that, Paco was still there. Paco would not make no sound, he was just so quiet. My grandma would get him out and like, oh, there's the bird. I forgot about him.
So was Paco, like, when you say he was in your grandma's shirt, was he like in grandma's cleavage, like where grandma keeps, cell phones today?
Yes.
So he's down in the boobs.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
what a weird thing. What a weird place to keep a bird.
To hide them, right? But yes, that's where she would keep them. And we would walk in the mountains. Mexico had a lot of mountains. And I remember asking my uncle if we were there yet. So my view, if we were there yet, was like into the United States. And he would tell us next mountain over, it was, we were going to be there. And we were never there. I remember passing that mountain and we were not there. So now I get it, just to keep us motivated, keep walking. But it was, we were never there to the United States. In Mexico was my first, I'm going to share a little bit. It was my first time to experience, and I know I didn't share this 3 days ago, but Christmas for me in Honduras, Christmas was sad. My grandma always cried on Christmas because my uncle my grandpa had passed away, so it was sadness for her. And so that's the Christmas that I remember until I was sad. Then when we enter into Mexico, it was Christmas, and we would just happen to be in this family's home. It was in Mexico. They let us stay there, and they told us that there was this guy named Santa Claus. Never heard of this guy, and they say, well, if you're a good kid, then he will bring you presents. And we were just going through there. We were standing there. So I was like, I was just thinking, because I never heard of this guy. I have no electricity and until I didn't know anything. And I was like, well, I'm going to ask him for a bike. And then the next day, all the kids in the house got like a present, and we didn't get anything. And I just thought I was a bad kid because I didn't get anything.
Oh, come on.
So that was one of the things that I
like the Destin's response is to laugh, and my little heart just goes squish.
I'm sorry. It's funny because kids don't know things, and he's like, I guess I'm a bad kid. It's logical.
I just thought I was a bad kid because that's how I remember, that
you're hiking across a continent with your family for reasons you don't understand yet. You're a prince of a kid.
Yeah, you were a pretty good kid.
I just thought I was a bad kid because I didn't get a bike.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah, and then in Mexico too, just keeping up some of the other towns. We were staying there for weeks in some of the towns until the parents, my aunts and uncle would work, but we would stay there and get to know the family. So we were more about playing with the kids. That was my version. I remember going there back and forth. We would kill zanates, or blackbirds, and we would eat them. That would be our food sometimes. And we would stay in barns.
How would you kill them?
With slingshots. We would have slingshots, and we would kill them and eat them. And now, going back here in the United States, I'm not big on deer. But we used to eat those birds. But it was different. We stayed in another family home that their basement was you turn off the lights and you turn it back on, and there would be centipedes all over the wall. I remember that would be so scary. We just stay in different homes. One of the families we stayed there, they invited us one day to for a movie, and it was my first time I was able to watch the movie It.
Oh, that was your first movie?
Yes.
Oh no, the old Tim Curry It?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
In Mexico, it was it was different. It was
that
very
had to-
scarring.
Ruin nights and nights and nights of sleep. I saw some of that. It was a made-for-TV movie, and it ruined my sleep.
Yes.
I'm really sorry that was your first movie. I was hoping it was going to be like Snow White or something.
It was It. The movie It.
Oh,
It was
dear.
different.
So I have never seen it. What is the plot for the movie It?
It's about this clown that will get kids. It will be. I guess the water, you get a boat, and then he will be there and he will eat them, or the kids will disappear. I mean, that's what I remember from my childhood. I haven't seen that movie anymore, so that was the only time I
No,
saw
there's
it.
no need to. You're good. You're good.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it was different. From there, we learned that one of my cousins, he turned around and went back. So I didn't see him anymore. So I don't know what happened. He went back to Honduras. So I didn't see him.
Did he make it back?
He did, yes. So I have seen him since. He made it back to Honduras. So I don't know if it was too rough. I just don't know what happened at that end. I just know that he's no longer with us in the journey. So that made it 8 with us in the journey. Moving up a little bit into Mexico, I was able to experience as well the holiday called El Día de los Muertos, which is the day of Halloween in the United States. And to me, it was pretty cool. You can go out there and knock on people's door and you get candy. You don't do that in Honduras. There's no Halloween. So that was just some of the things that we were able to experience as the journey into the United States. We would go and just do different things as we stay with the families. Moving up a little bit up into Mexico, we have just done walking one of the side of the mountains in this town called Villahermosa. I will never forget this town. We have just done walking, and we stopped and to get refreshment, and the Mexican immigration came and they just told us to get in the van, and we got caught, and we were sent into jail for one day. And my grandma, she said, "What are we doing in this ugly house?" And I mean, I knew as a kid that we were in jail because they said it. I guess she never been to jail before, but that was the thing that everybody was just laughing in there. What are we doing in this ugly house?
So do you think she was trying to comfort you, or do you think she genuinely didn't know you were in jail?
I believe she just didn't know.
Did they take Paco?
Paco was in jail too. She had on her shirt, so Paco was in jail with us. He was there with us, and it was different. So she had to put it back because we didn't want him to take the bird away. So
How did they figure out that you had illegally immigrated to Mexico?
I'm not sure. I don't know if somebody told on us. I just don't know that version. I just know that they came straight to get us. Took us. We went to jail for not even 24 hours. We were there, and then they sent us back to Guatemala. We got deported back to Guatemala. Whenever I was deported, when we were deported back to Guatemala, I saw it as in a it's like a camp. I remember one building was for men and the other one was for women, and they gave us food, so it's like a shelter where we had food. So I remember on my side, like, oh, we have food now, so because we were not eating really well on the journey. So that's what I remember. We stayed there for a long time. I can share everything that I remember in there.
Yeah, were like guards? Were they nice to you, or?
Yeah, the guards were nice. It was like it looked like, it was guarded with towers, and they would just.
Was there barbed wire? Like, what kept you in?
Barbed wires. It was just like a prison kind of looking. It looked like a prison. If you look back and picture that, it looked like a prison. I mean, there was where we had to go back to bed or into the building at certain times. We were there for a little bit longer than we stayed in other homes. one day my uncle told us that we were going to leave. So we left that night. We like escaped. We waited for the spotlight to move to one side, and we went under there. Everything was pre-planned. I just know that there was like, I don't know if they cut it with pliers, but it was like a door. They move up the fence, waited for the spotlights to move on one side, and we went under it.
Wow.
And it was nighttime. I don't know what time it was. I just know it was dark.
Did they have you go first?
Yes. And we had to just follow everybody. And that night, we started walking railroad tracks. We never jumped on a train, but we just walked railroad track. We would sleep on the side of the railroad track. And it was a different, and this is in Guatemala, it was a different walking. It was not through the jungle. So that's all I remember on that it was just a different type of walking. And it was a lot of railroad track. We were following the railroad track until we entered Mexico again, and it was all a different area. So going back to the second time, I don't know, I remember the towns where we were. I just know that it was a different sceneries.
Can I ask you a question, Jorge?
Yes.
So at this point, your mom went to America. You didn't know her. You're looking out over the ocean trying to see your mom.
Yes.
You've left your home. You left your dog. You went north. You went through Guatemala. You went to Mexico. You got caught. You went to prison. You broke out of prison, and you're 10 years old. That's the part that makes this so amazing, is you're 10 years old. Could you feel, I don't know if you, I mean, could you project back and try to determine if you could have felt your heart changing during this time? Like, were you becoming more mature? Were you getting hardened? Like, what do you remember any of those emotions, or were you just kind of a happy kid along for the ride? Like, what was it like?
I was more like a happy kid along for the ride, because I thought it was like an adventure at some points, and then I was not, so I do remember being thankful for having food and, just different stories that I heard through the people that they told us things and that we met along the way.
What about the adults? Do you remember the emotions of any of the adults? Did they ever seem stressed or worried or?
No, I don't recall. It was just me and my cousin, just trying to have fun at some points, because to me everything was new, because I didn't experience that until I was, like I said, I was like a cave kid, tree climber.
What about the emotions of breaking out of jail? Did you understand the stakes? Did you have adrenaline? Were you hyped up? I mean, I've played games when I was a kid where I'd jump in behind bushes or stuff when somebody's coming to try to find me, and it's just a game. But even that would give me that emotional rush. Were you feeling that?
Whenever we escaped the jail, I felt scary. It was scary because I didn't know what was going to happen. You just told us we had to go, and we just had to follow everybody. So that was scary. At some points, it was scary.
Did you ever lose anybody? Like have somebody fall back or get separated?
No. In Mexico, there was some point where we had to go in one spot, and some will stay back and then meet up again. We did a lot of that. There's this one time where we crossed a canoe, and they told us, no, I didn't see it, but there was alligators underneath the water, so they told us not to move. When they said that, I'm not moving. So that was scary,
Yeah.
So we went through a lot of different things that, I could have. It was no fun anymore. It was just, we had to just follow what they were telling us we had to do.
I'm thinking about the adults, Matt. Like
me too.
Like I'm thinking about my kids and like, okay, kids, it's time. Here we go. And I'm thinking about all these tools that I would have at my disposal. I don't know. Jorge, do you think there really were alligators? Or do you think they were telling you that to keep you still and quiet?
I think they were, because they seem pretty scary as well. They seem to be scared, and then as all of us, we had to cross one at a time or a few at a time, and we could not move. So they put whatever pressure they had. I felt like we felt it. We were scared as well.
Okay.
And just the fact that the adults had the responsibility of keeping that entire train of people together, and that the ages were so disparate, and surely not everybody could move at the pace of your uncle, or the youngest and healthiest. And you got to be malnourished at some point in this thing. I don't know. We fall apart if we go for a hike of more than 5 or 6 miles. Like we start getting the exhaustion and the slumping shoulders and all of that stuff. This is unbelievable. It's unbelievable just that you made the trek as far as you've told us so far, but it's even more impressive that you did it under the circumstances that you did it under with stakes at the height that they were. I'm staggered by all of this.
So going up the train tracks in Guatemala, we're going back towards the Mexican border. Is that right?
Yes, we were already into Mexico really fast. I don't know what part of Guatemala they put us in, but we were already into Mexico again. We did a lot of railroad track, and it was just less mountains when we went through on the second time. Moving up a little bit into Mexico, I remember this town, Tampico. We were there as well in Tampico in Mexico. Just did different things in there as well, and I think that the families that we stayed with, it was my uncle family. So I think it was family already in Mexico where we stayed in, because my aunt was married to my uncle, and he's Mexican. So I believe we were there in a house that knew my uncle or something.
So at this point, you've walked all the way to Tampico. Mm-hmm. Which is, you're getting close to the border.
The border, yes.
That's a long, long haul.
Yes. I mean, and a lot of times we would walk, and then we would stay in people's homes, different homes that we got to meet, different families. I know that in Mexico as well, we couldn't drink the water, just like it in Honduras. But, as a little kid, I never knew that we could not drink the water because we drink water out of the creek. So I didn't know that, like, oh, really? You can't drink water in Mexico? I did not know because we drink water from the creek. So I did not know that was an issue in Honduras as a little kid. I did not know that lifestyle,
I'm sitting here looking, Matt. Tampico is right on the coast. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you can see the ocean. So you're got the Gulf of Mexico to your right. The bulk of the trek, is that true, or did you kind of weave in and out away from the coast?
We did, yes, that in and out of the coast.
Gotcha.
Yes. Going up more into the United States, I know that whenever we were about to cross Texas, they told us that we had to wear dark clothes. So we won't be seen. So we were there at nighttime. I remember seeing a helicopter. Just looking back right now, it's like a movie. You see a helicopter with spotlights, and we were wearing dark clothes. We had to jump into the like a ditch with cactus, so we won't be seen, just to hide. And that was different. We had to do it through the nighttime. I don't know why. I just follow what they told us to do, and it was different. But like I said the other day, just now looking back into the technology, infrared, seeing the technology they have here, I was like, oh, they had seen us, or something, But that was a long time. That was in '95, so that desert was very. It wasn't too long. We were immediately fast into El Rio Bravo. We were already into El Rio Bravo the next day, and then when we crossed El Rio Bravo, we met. There's 2 guys in there with black inner tubes. They crossed us over because we can't swim. So I remember the 2 guys that were there, and they crossed us to the other side. We all had to take our clothes off because we had to have dry clothes on the other side.
What do you mean take your clothes off?
We had to take our clothes off and put in a bag so it won't get wet to cross to the other side.
Were you in your underwear, or did you just cross completely naked?
Yes.
Naked?
Yes.
Wow.
The river was very rough. Yeah, it was just long, and it was rough. It was scary looking at that river because all the other ones that we crossed was not as this one, fast current.
I've crossed there.
Huh?
I've been right there. My crossing was much, much easier. I was in a car.
You was in a car.
And we drove across, and that was it.
Yeah.
But I've crossed exactly right there. I crossed on it at Reynoso, and I came back on whatever the little highway is just north of Rio Bravo.
Rio Bravo. It's a long, it's a wide river,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at the map. So Reynosa is the city in Mexico
Reynosa, excuse me.
and right across the river, you've got this big highway or Interstate 2. This is not far from where they're shooting rockets now with SpaceX. Man, so let me get this straight. So you crossed a desert, you said?
We did, yes.
And then you came to a river, and some guys said, take your clothes off, put them in a bag, and get on this inner tube?
A black inner tube, two guys, and they crossed us over.
Did they pull the tube on a rope, or did you have to swim, or was there a motor?
They swam it, and we just hang on to the tubes. So they crossed us over.
Did anybody see you?
No, it was just us in the area. And I never saw those guys again. That was the only time I saw them at the river.
Did your uncle pay them?
I believe so. Something happened that I didn't see that version. I just know that they crossed us, and I never saw them again.
He had to have paid them.
Yes, I think so.
Man, that's amazing. And so, where was the bird?
And my grandma's. I think the bird was in a bag or something, because we all had to cross and to the other side. So
the bird came with you over the river.
Yes, it crossed the Rio Bravo with us. Paco did made it.
All right.
That's incredible. Go Paco.
Yes.
Like, I'm rooting for you the most in this story, but I'm pretty excited about Paco too.
Yeah, Paco did made it. And, if you can think of the green little bird, he made it with us. So when we crossed over there to the other side, my uncle, he had, everything was pre-planted. He had a blue Ford Mustang, 2 doors, and the vehicle was parked. I don't know what happened to the other side. I just know the vehicle was parked. He had keys, and we all jumped into that Mustang. I remember I was on a floorboard, my cousin, my sister floorboard, just those were sitting in the back on each other's lap, and we made it.
Who drove?
My uncle did.
Dude, so your uncle...
Where did you go?
He had everything planned it. I don't know how he did it. He was really good.
He's amazing. Where did you go from there? Where did you drive to?
We drove. At that point we were in Texas. We stayed in somebody's house. We stayed there for a while as well. I just remember that in Texas, that was my first time. I was able to. I learned how to ride a bike in Texas. I wish I can remember, but they took us into a building. There was like an indoor theme park in Texas. I thought that was pretty neat. Never seen that before. But we stayed there for a while. Then just in Texas, we did have a vehicle. So we didn't walk the rest after we crossed the Rio Bravo. We did had a vehicle up into the United States. Our destination was New York. That's where my mom lived. And that's where my aunt lived as well. That's where she came from New York City. And then we were heading that way from Texas, and we would just stop for fuel and just move up. And we stopped in Kentucky in Seabury to rest, and we stopped there at a Catholic church. They gave us like a refugee place to stay, and that's where in Seabury wherever I was able to meet my mom for the first time. She came from New York to Kentucky, and I was able to meet her. And I was just so excited to meet my mom for the first time. And the Catholic church, they put us to school, so we were in a Catholic school system, and we were able to just do a lot of different things through there. I'm just so thankful that they help us out on the journey.
So your mom was on her way to Kentucky to meet you?
Yes, she flew from New York to Kentucky to meet us.
What was it like? I mean, how did it happen? What was it like to see her for the first time?
It was just amazing to hug my mom and to see her, just never seen her before. It was just so neat. It was just a lot of mixed emotion it was that day. I cannot remember what airport it was through.
Did you know it was her when you saw her?
I did not. I did not until they told me that was my mom. So that was just so exciting.
Did she kiss you?
She did. She hugged me, and she was just so excited, just like I was meeting your parent for the first time. It's just so awesome, and meeting my mom, and that I always used to see if I can see her waving at me in the United States. It was just awesome.
I don't know what that's like, Jorge. You say, you just like you meet your mom first time. No, I don't know what that's like. That's powerful.
Yes. From New York, my mom she told us that it was just safer, or it was calmer in Kentucky, so we stayed. She moved to Kentucky, so we never made the journey to New York. We stayed in Kentucky, so just so blessed that we was able to meet a lot of different people in Kentucky. So Paco made it too. He made it with us to Seabury, and then years later he passed away. Paco died. He choked over a bean. Somebody gave him a bean and it was not cooked, and
I thought that might be the way he'd go.
he died.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
The correct response is that's terrible. Paco was like a part of the family.
Yes, he didn't make it.
Don't blame yourself, Jorge. You can't blame yourself. You have to be brave for Paco.
So let's get this straight. So Paco leaves Honduras, goes up through Guatemala, goes to Mexico, gets put in jail, goes back to
The whole time in a cleavage.
the whole time in cleavage. At one point, he makes it across the Rio Bravo in a tube, makes it all the way up to freedom, and then he chokes on a bean.
He choked on a bean. Yes.
Did you guys try to do like little mouth to mouth or tiny little chest compressions on his tiny little bird chest?
We did not know what to do. I mean, we didn't even spoke English, so we did not know there was anything that existed for animals. So
Were you there when he died?
yes,
Was that
bad.
emotional for you?
Yes, because that was like that was a bird, that was or Paco that at some point we forgot he even existed, but he was there. We buried him behind the church. We put like a cross in there, and he was buried behind the church.
So Paco was a Christian?
Yeah. He was buried right behind the church.
It seemed like it. Yeah.
Which church?
It was a Catholic church on Stanley where we were.
So you know where Paco's grave is?
Yes, I do.
It's at the church.
Yes.
Could you walk to Paco's grave right now?
Yes, I can. Yes.
I know where most of my dogs are buried. I get it.
Yeah. Going back right now, like it's we are located in Honduras, that sometimes we go visit the families, and they will have sometimes two birds, and they call them Pacos as well. They're named Pacos. Like, it reminds me, that was Paco. It's just so.
I actually
Can't be Paco.
I haven't told Matt that. I haven't told him what. So there's a whole lot to this story now at this point. So you're in Kentucky, and I'll just say it this way, you're an illegal immigrant, right?
Correct.
Okay, so then what happened?
So we entered into the United States in 1995, and then we were illegal when we entered into the United States. And then in 1998, Hurricane Mitch happened in Honduras, did a devastation in Honduras, and we were able to be under TPS because of the hurricane, which stands for Temporary Protection Status. And since then, we were legal in the United States, just under a temporary protection, which we can renew every year. And I mean, the protection has just gone away about a few years ago, but we were under that. So that means we were legal to stay in the United States until your country gets better from the devastation. So that's what we were under in 98.
So in this period of time here in North Alabama, there was a lot of talk about illegal immigration. Like, in fact, I knew people that were working hard to make it difficult for you. So basically, the talk was, well, these illegal immigrants, I'm doing air quotes, these illegal immigrants are going to come take our jobs. And to hear your story as a 10-year-old boy coming up through, all these trials that you did, that kind of gives a name and a face to, those discussions that I heard as a little boy about these illegal immigrants coming up. And so I would like to know your thoughts on taking jobs from Americans. Maybe that's a callous question, but I think you would have a really interesting perspective.
I have had at one point, like, where I used to work for Kroger's, and I also worked in tobacco. Was going to high school and then in college. And
did you say tobacco?
Tobacco, yes.
Like in the fields in Kentucky of tobacco fields.
Yes, working in tobacco. So I used to work in tobacco as well. It's my second job, and on the weekends. But I would work with different farmers, awesome families. They would be awesome. It's just that I will work with some of the people that will work in there with us. They would all gather up as groups and work. And I do remember this one guy that he was not happy that we were there because he told us, we were taking his job. And, when we go there to work, a lot of the Hispanics are usually families. And it was all family working in there. And, we told them, hey, we're taking your job and then we can just leave and you stay here. And he said, no, you can stay with us. So, he wanted some help. So, we were just helping him, so. But that's one of the things that I have experienced, being in here and in Kentucky. But
can you draw that out a little bit? So you're saying this was a farmer? This was the person that owned the farm?
No, this was not a farm. The farmers were usually awesome families. I have never encountered anybody that was, different with us. It was a guy that was working with us.
Okay.
And he was just working with us.
And when you work tobacco, I've heard Xander talk about it. Something about you pull things up into a barn and let it dry. The black barns that they get real hot. Is that what you were doing? Or
yes.
Cutting in the fields? What were you doing?
We were cutting it, and then we will also put it up in the barn. We will go up there and put the tobacco on the barns. But a lot of the stuff we did was also as well. We spiked it, and we put them into a big box, I guess, to put them to send them off. I don't know what they're called. I remember it's been a long time since I've done it, but it's just great people that we met, And a lot of time, because I spoke English, I would be like they would tell me to just keep an eye on everybody, like supervising. A lot of the farmers were awesome. Like, we knew them. So,
how did you learn English?
I learned English in school. So with ESL teachers, I remember I would be pulled out of class, and they would take me to learn English. Riddle Rabbit, Hooked on Phonics. I didn't know how to say anything into English. I remember the teacher would tell me to repeat things like cat, gato, perro, just different things. And until I learned it. I believe I'm still learning it right now. But they were just good to us as we're. I had my last ESL teacher into my senior year, so I had ESL teacher since I began into my senior year. So it was pretty neat.
That's what my wife does. It's interesting to watch her do that because she doesn't speak. She speaks Spanish, but she does not speak Spanish with her students. It's all in English, all of the teaching. It's like learning a new language, like when you were a baby. That's the approach that she takes with it. And so it really, in her experience, it is starting from scratch. And it sounds like that was your experience as well.
Yes.
Did you have friends who got deported? Did you have members of your community who were here illegally and got ratted out or found out and got sent home?
I did have friends that got sent back and back into their home country. So, and they stayed. They did not come back.
Yeah, we have a good friend from La Ceiba, and she got sent home. That was a tough deal. It was a difficult process to watch how that played out.
Yes.
So it was the hurricane that gave you that temporary status. So you were already here, but because the hurricane came through while you were here, you were able to use it to claim, what did you call it? Temporary?
TPS.
which is temporary protection status?
Yes.
Interesting. So you feel fortunate that happened?
Well, and in one way, I didn't. The devastation that was done in Honduras, it was pretty bad. I wasn't there when that happened, but I was just thankful that, in one way, yes, that helped us being here in the United States to be legal.
That's a difficult thing to think about, isn't it?
Yes.
So when you got here, you were helped by several people. So you said some people in the Catholic Church helped you in Kentucky.
Yes.
And you said these English as a second language teachers helped you.
Yes.
What was the main teacher? What was their name that spent the most time with you?
Well, I don't remember because I did move after I got into Seabury. I moved several times. I moved from Seabury to Glasgow, Kentucky, which is really close to Bowling Green. Just to the side of Bowling Green. We were there for a long time. We lived in trailers, and at that time, I was able to experience. It was different. My lifestyle was different when we lived there because I felt like there was always parties at our trailer, but it was a different lifestyle than what I remember living in Honduras. From there, we moved back to Owensboro, Kentucky, and then in there we lived at the Daniel Patino Shelter. It's a homeless shelter. We were there because we didn't had a home. We were there for a long time, and I'm just so thankful that they took care of us. I know the staff there took care of us. As me going into a teenager, staff took us to roller skating, rock climbing, just different things that I would have never experienced as living in Honduras. So I'm just so thankful that they took us under their wings and kept us there longer. Usually in a homeless shelter, they don't want you there for a long time. From the Daniel Patino Shelter, my mom was she was able to get a Habitat for Humanity. That was pretty neat. We were part of it. We helped, we didn't build it, but we put hours into it, and it was pretty neat. My mom is living there right now. She's living in the Habitat house in Owensboro. And then, from there, I just, went to high school, and that's where I met my wife, Savannah. And have 2 daughters, and just my story, I guess, going a little bit more up into I can share, the process into how we met in high school. Our dating was different. That's a different story. Not because of anything, but I did not want to date. So anytime somebody say you want to go out, and at first I just thought going out because English is my second language was going out somewhere, but I did not know it was like a date. So I did rejected dates. I never show up to the dates. I would say that. And I really wasn't going to show up for Savannah's date either. So she met me at Kroger's, and she knows this. And she waited until I guess I got off from work. And, we got to, we met. Our first movie was Fat Albert. Hey. So that was our first date movie. And, my middle name is Albert.
Oh, so it all works.
So, it was different.
Everybody's first movie is embarrassing, Jorge. Sorry, what was yours and Tara's first movie, Destin?
Forrest Gump. We did pretty good.
Oh, you did pretty good. Yeah. All right, you win.
Run, Forrest. Now.
Exactly. But when she met you at Kroger, it was my understanding, Xander said you were you started at the bottom at Kroger and you worked your way up.
I did. I started stock and shelf. We had an awesome team there. I was there with Kroger for 15 years and just worked myself out. Staff was awesome there. I learned a lot from a lot of people. That's where I learned a lot, and just their experience. They just helped me out. Their roles, and I know that it was all, God they had his purpose. I just know that it was all him, and just learning different things, leadership from Kroger's and the people working there, which is just a great family. It was just got me prepared to what I was about to say next, what I have been doing. But if I can give a little bit of glimpse to my process as well, to my citizenship, Savannah, she pushed me going into this. She's the one that told me that, hey, one day the TPS is going to go away. We should just do something about, being a U.S. citizen. And, she was right. I'm just so glad that she pushed me into it. We filed paper for my residence. And then the way that happened was, it was different. I don't know if you have seen the movie The Proposal.
I have.
You have. It was exactly like that. We went into a room and they asked us questions. And, you just being in the present, just it's like going into, what is it called whenever you go, a jury, when everybody have to go to jury, right? And you just feel that heaviness present, like somebody's in trouble,
Like an interrogation?
Yes. Just felt that, and so they asked me questions, and Savannah went in first. They asked her questions, and then I went in. They asked her questions like, what kind of driveway is your neighbors? What kind of driveway that they got? And I guess they want to know you're living together, you're a real couple, you're real people. What kind of toothbrush you use? Me, whatever they got on sale. I don't know what toothbrush. We don't have a same one we buy all the time. But they asked me, and to be honest with you, I have a memory of a photo memory. Numbers is not my thing. So they asked me how old was my daughter. She's 3. Her birthday's somewhere. But it was not good whenever somebody asks you your daughter's birthday and you don't know. It's just not good.
Look, we're all dudes here, man. I'm like 75% sure of what grades my kids are in at any one time, so I don't really know. I mean, I feel you, dude. That's a hard thing, especially
I'm
under pressure.
75% sure
Yes.
I have 3.
Yeah.
Were the people who asked you the questions cool? I mean, did it seem like they were rooting for you, or was it pretty cold?
The lady that got an interview on us, she seems to be, at the end, she was really nice. She told us that it's glad to see real people. I answered most of the questions that she told us. It's just that one that she got me in there. But she said it was good to see real people. I don't know what she sees every day, but she was pretty much, she had her, how would I say this? She was the person that told me yes or no about the citizenship. So she was it. So she was.
Big deal. Yeah.
I was so thankful that, she was on my side. That I'm not nobody just trying to get married to get papers or anything, and that does not work. It doesn't work that way. So I got my my resident under the Dreamers Act. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that. It wasn't because of the TPS helped me because I was legal in the United States, temporary legal since '98. But it helped me that I entered the United States as a minor, and that helped me with my papers. That's what we filed under.
Tell us more about the Dreamers Act. How does that work? I mean, it's obviously played a much bigger role in your life. For I think a lot of us, it's a thing that we heard about on the news. What is it exactly?
I'm really not too familiar with that. I just know that we filed with the Dreamers Act. That's what our lawyer told me to file. That will be best because we're into the United States young, and so I'm not too familiar with too much about that. I don't want to say the wrong thing just because I don't know much about it, but that's what we filed under.
Gotcha. That's interesting. So you were married before you went into this citizenship meeting?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I thought as soon as you get married, you become a citizen. I know that wasn't the case in my brother-in-law's.
Yeah, that was not the case for us either.
Yeah, we had to start the application process, and it was very difficult. And so we learned that the hard way. It sounds like you did too.
Yes.
When you guys decided to get married, was that in your mind? Like, were you like, oh, I guess this means I get to be a citizen?
No,
it was just Savannah.
Hey, we loved each other, so
That's awesome.
yes.
So one other thing I do want to have on the record here is when you said you worked yourself up through the ranks at Kroger, Matt, My understanding is that Jorge was the manager at Kroger. Is that true?
Yes, I was the operational manager with Kroger's.
So that's not like I just worked myself up to like running a cashier. Like you ran the place.
Yes, we ran the store and with awesome people. So
What
remarkable.
what I'm saying, Matt, is he's sandbagging. There's a lot of humility here.
He's sandbagging. Yep, I recognize this behavior.
That's amazing. That's a big deal. At this point, you're married. You're a U.S. citizen. You have 2 daughters. What now? What's going on in life now?
So we had to wait, I believe it was 5 years, so we can file in for citizenship. So I was a permanent resident at that time whenever I got my papers, but I had to wait, I believe it was 5 years to file in for citizenship, in which we did. And then from there, I studied for the test. We just study and study. It was pretty neat, the ceremony. So I was able. I'm gonna go just right where we went over there and took the test, and it was. I remember that in the building that we were in, whenever the judge walked in, it was like a hotel. When he walked in, it became a federal building. So that was pretty neat to see that. And I thought that it was going to be just me, but there was a lot of nationalities there. There was a lot of countries. They were sworn in at that same time. Before I went in to take the test, I had to leave the United States in 2010. I had to leave the United States and to come back the right way. So I was given permission from Homeland Security. They gave me a paper, and we wanted to make sure that it was real because I did not have no passport. So that paper that they gave me was signed. It was just really nice formal paper to re-enter the United States under that. So I was able to go in 2010 and visit families that I haven't seen in a long time. And I came back into the United States. I was there for 2 weeks. It was just it's a way to leave and come back the right way. That's what I was told. So that's what we did.
Were you pretty nervous when you got off the plane in the U.S.?
Yes, because I'd never been in a plane. It was my first time flying by myself. And
oh, yeah.
And then just having that pressure, like, what about if these papers are not real, There's no way you can't come back. So, but it was all real.
What was that like when you went up to the desk? Had they seen papers like that before? Did they know what the deal was, or would they have to call in a supervisor?
No, the officers, they knew. I was sweating. I was just like, oh, what's going on here, But they knew.
Were they nice to you?
They were nice. The officers in there, I guess they see it every day. They saw my paper and they let me through, but they were nice.
Wow. So you came back.
Did they say welcome to the United States?
Yes. Welcome to the United States.
Did they say welcome home?
Yes.
Yes. How about that?
Yes.
I always like that when I get back.
At that point, what happened then?
When we went into the building to get sworn in, it was just pretty neat. It was a thing that I guess if you go back, I wish that like a lot of, I don't know, people from high school, kids from high school get to experience that. It was pretty neat getting sworn in and doing an oath and that you're going to protect this country, and it was just pretty neat. I don't know if I'm allowed to say things about what was said, but it was really neat seeing different nationality, different countries in there, and being sworn in.
Where did you go out to eat after you got sworn in?
We were so excited. I don't recall where we went out to eat after that, but everybody did like a ceremony outside. I think we left, and I told Savannah to please don't ask me those questions again. I did pass my test with 100%.
Yeah, you did.
Yes,
because you're an overachiever.
Yeah. There are 100 questions, but they don't ask you all 100 questions. I remember they. I don't know if I'm allowed to go over those questions, but they ask you.
Yes, you are.
I can. So
yes.
Like some of the questions are like name a
An Avenger.
That'll be
Name
good.
a WWE wrestler.
Name name a what would you call not a city, the borders
4
Mexico.
Cardi B songs.
The borders Mexico, and there's a few of them. They say to name one. You can say Texas. But I was able to answer multiple questions. Like answer more than once, and the officer say it looks like I have studied. So they didn't ask me much
Good.
question because I did answer more than I
Jorge,
was
when I
supposed to.
when I taught college history, I would make all of my students every semester get an A on those 100 questions. I'd put the test, here are all the American citizenship questions. You're American citizens. You're getting college credits in American history. You need to know what an immigrant to this country knows. You need to have that down. And some of those students, it was incredible. They'd go down there and they'd study, and I just let them take it as many times as they needed to in the Learning Center. You just had to get an A on it before the end of the semester, or I failed you. I wouldn't give the credits. And there were literally students who got a passing grade otherwise, but they could not pass the test that you aced. And I stuck to my guns, and I'm grateful that the people in charge at the college backed me up on that. But no, they're good questions. They're things that are really good to know, to feel like this is my country and I live here and I get it and I know my way around. I don't feel like those questions are a hurdle or a hoop. I feel like it's a pretty well-designed set of questions so that studying helps you feel like you own it, because you do own it. It's your country.
Absolutely.
And so I like it, and congrats on getting 100%. I don't have many of my college students who can boast the same thing as you on that.
Thank you. It was all Savannah. She have flat cards and stuff, and she would ask me random, and she would ask me the ones that I would fail, that I would not remember, and then that's how I was able to get into it.
Go Savannah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Nice of you to defer.
Where do you find these questions, Matt? Are they online? If I wanted to go take the test, I mean, is there a way to do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. U.S. citizenship test questions. There we go.
It's standardized. Is it in English, Jorge?
They're in English and they're random. I believe you get random questions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and some of them are really easy.
They are a little different from location to location, because some of them ask about state politicians, representatives. But Destin, can I read you a few?
Yes, let's do it.
Do you want me to pick the ones that'll make you look awesome or terrible?
I don't care. Yeah, everyone knows I'm terrible. I mean, if
whatever. No, you're going to do great. You're going to do great. Ready?
1 second.
What?
Can I say something to Jorge first? Jorge, right
Question
before
number one.
Right before he started asking me these questions, I could feel my heart rate go up a little bit. Like this is like everything's on the line for you, right?
It is, yes.
Okay, let's go. Let's go, Matt.
Okay, here we go. What do we call the first 10 amendments of the Constitution?
The Bill of Rights.
Very well done. How many amendments does the Constitution have in total?
Oh my goodness. Oh golly. 23?
27.
27?
I was going to say 28, but oops.
It needs to have 28. I have an idea for an amendment.
It's been a while.
We all have ideas for amendments.
27. Okay.
All right. Let me see. Some of these are kind of interpretive.
This is stressful.
Is it?
I'm smiling, Jorge. You're seeing me smile on the Zoom call here, but I'm completely stressed out right now.
Yeah.
Name the 3 branches of government.
Okay, executive, judicial, and legislative.
Very good. What principle stops one branch of government from becoming too powerful?
What principle? I mean, it's checks and balances, but
Yeah.
What principle?
Yeah, principle of checks and balances.
Oh, okay.
separation-
Oh no, there's a
separation
fancy
of powers.
word
It's
like Cribius Merpelinus. Okay, good. Okay,
How long is the term for a U.S. senator?
6 years.
Very good. How many for a rep?
2.
2 years.
How am I doing, Jorge?
You're doing awesome.
Jorge, you had all these right?
Yes, I did. And
at that.
I'm glad you answer them now.
He doesn't have to answer him anymore. You got 100. Give me 3
name
more, Matt.
5 Supreme Court. Name 5 Supreme Court justices.
Oh golly, that's hard actually. Rehnquist. Oh wow, some of them have died. We've got. Okay, this is hard because Scalia died and RBG died. So
Yeah, I want you to go with living ones,
yeah, no.
people who are active.
All right, so Clarence
Chief Justice is
Clarence Thomas still around?
Clarence Thomas is still around. Very good. There's one.
Okay, Rehnquist. Rehnquist still around?
We're going with people who are on the court now.
Are you googling?
I'm not Googling.
What are you doing with your hands?
I'm scrolling through these questions. Okay, here we go. Ready? I'll screen
Roberts.
share. No, I'm screen sharing. So that
Okay,
you know.
Roberts.
So you know, Google.
Clarence Thomas.
Yes.
What's the new lady? Brand new
Yep,
lady.
there you go.
I don't know, man.
Barrett.
No, I don't have it.
Amy Coney Barrett. Yeah, you got it. Come on. Okay, you got Roberts. You got Thomas.
Yeah, I don't have it. I don't
You
get
got
to be a
Barrett.
citizen.
I'm giving you a new lady. Yeah, who's the dude that there was all the controversy about during the Trump administration?
I forget his name. Oh, I just remember Matt Damon playing him on SNL.
Okay, Kavanaugh.
I don't remember his actual
Breyer.
name. I don't know.
Okay, well, all right. That's not actually one of the questions. It's just who's the Chief Justice right
Oh,
now is the
Roberts.
one, and you
Okay.
got that right. Okay, all right. You passed. That was
Matt,
really good.
you-
That was really good.
Oh, this is
I just
awful.
want to see if you had it. It's like next level.
Okay.
What are the two major political parties in the United States? Oh my goodness.
the
Yeah,
Whigs.
or another way to phrase the question, what's the whole problem? Okay, last one. Nope, I'm going to make it fun.
Okay.
This last one's going to be fun.
Okay. Jorge, this is stressful.
Yes, it was, and it is right now too.
What year was the Constitution written?
Well, 1789. Is that right? It wasn't 1776. That was the Declaration of Independence.
Very good.
Is it 1789?
87.
I'm a bad person.
You did a really good job, dude. You did a really good job.
Well, no, it's good.
Like, yeah, you would have passed. Nice job.
No, this did a good job of helping us. So how many do you have to get right, Jorge?
I believe it was. They ask you a lot of them, but you can't miss two. I think you'll fail if you miss two.
Matt,
Is
just
that right?
blaze through, read some of these questions real quick.
Name one American Indian tribe in the United States.
Pueblo.
Navajo.
Everyone's doing very well. I'll go Hopi because I can. What movement tried to end racial discrimination?
Civil rights.
During the Cold War, what ideology was the main concern of the United States?
Communism.
And may it ever be. Who was president during the Great Depression and World War II?
Roosevelt.
Which one?
Well, World War II was Truman.
No. Which Roosevelt?
Oh, FDR.
There you go.
Okay.
Name the two longest rivers in the United States.
Mississippi and oh wow. What's the other one? Missouri?
Very good.
Wow.
Name one U.S. territory.
Puerto Rico? Guam?
Very good.
Okay.
Jorge, name one state that borders Canada.
We're going to revoke your
it's Chicago,
citizenship.
right? Somewhere in Chicago, Illinois.
He's got it.
Illinois. If you count the lake, Illinois does.
I count it.
Illinois and Canada share a lake together.
I don't feel like Jorge has to answer any more of these.
That's
Because
fair. Name one state that borders Mexico. Destin.
Texas.
Yes, very good.
This is awesome. So what happened?
Last question. No, last question. I've scrolled through them all the way down to almost 100. All right, one for each of you. Name a national U.S. holiday.
Memorial Day.
4th of July.
Boom. Everybody passed.
That is stressful.
But here's the point of the exercise, and this is why I wanted to ask you the questions, because it's humbling. Because there's a ton of it that you feel like just by right of birth you just sort of know, and you have down, and then you realize that no, you don't. Like when you're on the spot, it induces panic, and it's hard to remember. And what if you get asked the 10 that are tricky, and you choke on it? It's hard. And now, imagine that, Destin, but for Honduras. Name the branches of government in Honduras, Destin.
En español.
Name the 5 largest cities in Honduras in Spanish.
Sí, es difícil. Tegucigalpa, San Pedro Sula, No,
Well, we got two.
No say.
Name the first president of Honduras.
I don't know. No.
What year did Honduras become an independent nation?
Yeah, that's hard, dude.
Like, see what I mean? It's
Wow.
like you grew up with all of these ideas baked into your head, and you were just immersed in it, and so was I. And it's still hard to come up with. Now, imagine that for some country that you're brand new to. It'd just be wildly intimidating. So, my point is, I'm impressed, Jorge.
Yes, and then when you walk in there, you have two officers in there, in that room with you. You're in there in that room with two officers.
Are they nice to you?
Yeah, they were the guy. They were nice. It's a guy and a lady. Don't remember their names, but
Let me ask you this, Jorge. At what point did America become your country?
I guess since I got here, I mean, it just became part of home. You know, when I came to the United States, it just, you know, home. You know.
So it's always been your country.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it wasn't just whenever I got sworn in. To me, I have always been part of home. It's an awesome experience when you get to sworn in. You're sworn in into the United States, and this is your country. You know, your land, and it just. But to me, I have always been whenever I got here and living here with people and just meeting awesome people throughout the years. Part of home.
So then why are you leaving it?
Living from here to Honduras.
Yeah, Matt doesn't know about this.
No, I don't know about that. Is that the plan?
So I have been in Honduras, back in Honduras since I am a full-time missionary in Honduras, and I live there to help people. I've always had in my heart to be God's hand and feet, just help people. So I've been in Honduras in El Ayudante for 3 years, and then that was a different turnaround as well, because my lawyer he knew that I was leaving to Honduras, and he told me, "You get your citizenship to go back." So he knew that he helped us out, and I got my citizenship to go back. But just being grateful, I just felt like the Lord, he brought me here. He had a purpose for me. I have learned a lot from a lot of awesome people, and I'm just saying, just from everywhere that I have encountered, just been time of learning and just being with awesome people, and just what my heart is serving in Honduras. So I'm back over there serving. I'm serving God. I'm serving my Lord. So whatever we do there, just to honor Him.
You went through all that to go back.
Yes. We're living there now with my wife and my 2 kids.
You see why I wanted to have Jorge on now?
I didn't see that twist coming.
Yeah, I know. Well, the Paco was the big twist, and this is a pretty big one too. So, Jorge, what's the goal? Like, why are you serving there? So, what are you talking to the little boys that were you when you were there? I mean, what are you doing?
So I have had the honor to serve with El Ayudante. We were the team's coordinators. We are the team's coordinators. We're still there in El Ayudante, and what we do there, we help the community what we do in El Ayudante, we do different projects, and those projects are like a door-in ministry to minister to the families, and to help them in their everyday life as well. So we don't do like handouts. We will do latrines to help them with their health, but we also minister to them. And then, they pay a little portion of, all the projects that we do there. And the latrines, like we have, so latrines are, some people don't know what latrines are. I've had that in the past. They're portable, like outdoor bathrooms. That's what they are. So the families, they're in charge of making sure that they dig the hole to have it ready for us. And that's like a payment for them, that they work hard for it, instead of us giving to them for free. It's just something that they work hard for their family. And they, they're going to take care of it, and just different things that we do in the ministry there. Right now in September, we are focusing on, we are moving into Tela, and that's where I grew up. And we are going to be focusing with the youth. We're going to share the love of Christ with them and empower them, to teach them different trades. We want those kids. So where I grew up in Tela, most of the kids that I grew up with, they're either in gangs or they're dead. And we want to show them a different view, show them that there's a God that loves them, that they can learn these trades and they can be who they want to be in life. Disciple them, mentor them, and they can be wherever they want to be in life. So that's our focus, is to make sure they have a safe place and grab them either before they go into gangs or if they're in gangs, to show them a different lifestyle. I don't know how you say it, just bring them hope that they can be somebody in life. They can, whatever they choose to do, they can do it. We had a little kid that we talked to in Tela, and I don't remember his name, but Savannah talked to him, and it was he wants to be a chef. He has that he wants to be a chef, and kids are dreaming around the world. I'm not just saying just in Honduras, but they're to me they're the future, and we want to help them out. I know as a little kid, I went many times to bed hungry. Just give them that, give them that hope that they can, they have a place to go and mentor them and know that they're safe, that there's a God that loves them, and just want to be over there. And I just believe that, God brought me to the United States, taught me different things, and sending me back over there to serve Him. So that's what I'm doing until He tells me.
Go ahead, Matt.
No, I'm just taking in the whole story. That's a 25-year deal beginning to end, and you had to walk halfway across a continent to do it. Part of the walk twice. And it's just interesting because, understandably, it seems like the point is a better life. That's what you hear. That's why people immigrate to a place like the United States. There's all this opportunity, and you got that, thrived in it, succeeded, climbed the ladder in it, and then decided to give it up and go back to where it all started. I'm just very moved by it.
You might be the most American person I know, Jorge. I mean that. I just kind of grew up here. This is where I was born. Everything was easy. I went to school, and I like to think that I worked hard. I didn't work hard compared to you. I haven't done anything compared to what you've done. And I feel like you are, that when the founding fathers were creating America, I think you are America. Like, you are the vision of what they were thinking. And I don't personally think that America is an English-speaking person that's an entrepreneur or something like that. I think America is a hardworking person from anywhere. And I don't know.
Yes.
Your story just blew my mind when I heard it, and I wanted to share it with Matt. So thank you for taking the time to be so generous with what you've done here. It's awesome.
Thank you for having me.
What do you think, Jorge? Do you think people that try to make the same journey, are you going to help them?
Into the United States?
Yeah.
I mean, I know why a lot of people are leaving Honduras and that had left. I know that up in the mountains where people live, making $5, what they can bring income for their families, it's not enough for them, and that's all they can bring home. And so I see why, people want to, from Honduras want to come, or Central America wants to come to the United States for a better life, to get out of poverty and help their family. It's something big that in Honduras that I see me living there, that it's not the same whenever, when I cross, it's just so dangerous.
Now it's dangerous? It's more dangerous now?
So dangerous, yes.
So people that do it now, you think they have a much lower chance of getting here?
Right. They don't make it. Most of them don't make it. They get stuck in Mexico, and they're drug trafficking and just different things that you hear a story with people that they never make it to the north.
Mm.
They have in Honduras a lot of in the radios and a lot of things, saying on TV, don't go to the United States, you're going to suffer. I see a lot of that they're putting in, so people don't do it. I have had friends that have come and asked me, I think I should go to the United States, and I not tell them, not to do it. It's so dangerous. So that's what the feedbacks that I get from in Honduras, what I see.
So the government's actually trying to discourage people from making the trip now.
Right. They're saying, don't go to the United States. You're going to be mistreated. You're going to be killed, just the whole journey. Because what happened is a lot of people, when they say that there's caravans coming in, what's happening up northern, either Mexico and Guatemala, they know that there's a lot of people coming in. So they're taking advantage of them. There's ladies, or it's just people, the bad guys are getting ready for people going out there, trying to go to the United States to better themselves, for a better life. And
so you're talking about like sex trafficking and things like
yes,
that.
Yes. So they know they're coming. So they're just like, what would you call it? Like prey, waiting for people to come through
They're
to
predators.
Their town. Predators, yes.
So the people that helped you along the way, the old people that helped you, let you sleep at their house, gave you food, somehow your uncle arranged to have this car ready. You're saying every step along the way, there's not as much trust as there was back in the day.
Right.
And that's common knowledge.
Yes.
Wow.
Where else do people go when they want to leave Honduras now?
They go up into Mexico. You hear people go up to Mexico. They go either to the United States, Mexico, or Spain. So they try to get visas to go to Spain.
Can I ask you one other thing?
Yes.
So you're currently starting this. If I understand correctly from hearing your story the other day, you've been working in one town in Honduras for a while now, and you're moving to another city.
Yes.
This is Tela, where you're going. And from what I understand, the gang presence is pretty strong there. You're not allowed to go out into the city alone. You have to have a representative or a leader from the city to go with you into the town. Mm-hmm. Your primary mission is the children, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So do you have support? Like, do you have a way that you're doing this? Is there someone that's, have you figured it out yet, how you're going to support this effort?
Yes. We have churches that are supporting us, and Savannah, she's have come to the United States and talked to different people and what we're going to be doing in Honduras. But yes, there is a website that we have that it can be with more information about how can you
basically support.
Yes.
Matt, can we?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll put that in the so if I understand correctly, you have a website that has more information about how to support what you're doing, and you're cool with us putting it in the show notes somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you for telling us this. It's just an honor to meet you, and I feel like you worked your butt off to even be in a place where we could meet, and all we do is just sit here. I'm moved. I'm inspired. I'm appreciative. It makes me think about what I'm doing with my life. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming here and making it better.
Is there anything you want to say, Jorge, to a large audience who may be listening and you don't know? You don't even know the program that we're doing here. You don't know the context and the backstory of people that are listening to this podcast. But if you could have one thing through all this life experience that you would want to impart to other people, what would it be?
Well, I'm just so thankful. First of all, I want to say I was just so thankful for. I'm thankful to God, to what He have done in my life, and all the people that He had put in my life to be, they have been part of a mentor to me, and they're people that I looked up to. So I just want to say thank you for everything what he's done to me and my family.